Good morning. I'm Cloverdale Police Chief Jason Ferguson. By now, I'm sure every member of this community is aware of the various incidents that have occurred across the country involving law enforcement officers and use of force. As a result of these events, tensions are at an all-time high and calls for use of force reform have reached an unprecedented level. As your police chief, I want to reassure the Cloverdale community that we are taking this call to action seriously and have reviewed and updated our use of force policies, which are outlined in the following video segment narrated by members of the Cloverdale Police Department. We recognize members of this community have a voice, regardless of race, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, or other affiliations, and we are here to listen to you. The men and women of Cloverdale Police operate within the community policing philosophy, and we take our commitment in providing public safety seriously. We do not tolerate racism and are dedicated to fair and impartial enforcement of the law. I want to thank each of you for taking the time to hear this important message.
Senate Bill 230 mandates all officers have crisis interventions training, implicit bias training, and alternatives to use of force. Our officers are expected to de-escalate situations where possible by communicating with subjects, maintaining distance, and otherwise eliminating the need for force. Our staff is currently trained in crisis interventions training to better understand how to address persons with mental health disorders, and implicit bias training to recognize their own unconscious biases and adjust their way of thinking to ultimately eliminate discriminatory behaviors. Currently, the department is in the process of extending training in bias racial profiling, de-escalation, critical incident response, and the use of force training.
Senate Bill 230 also mandates a requirement that an officer intercede when present and observing another officer using force that is clearly beyond what is necessary. Our officers are trained to intervene and stop excessive force if they witness another officer using excessive force per policy 300.2.1. This is part of the officer's initial training, during their field training, and continued training.
Assembly Bill 392 mandates officers, where feasible, shall prior to use of force make reasonable efforts to identify themselves and warn that deadly force may be used. Our officers are trained to give verbal warnings when reasonable before use of force, found in policy 300.4B.
Our policy does not outline specific use of force continuum, mostly because it is outdated and impractical, even dangerous when applied in real-life situations that rapidly evolve into lethal situations. Instead, training should be geared around creating space and separation in an attempt to utilize de-escalation techniques.
Our officers are required to use other reasonably available resources and techniques when determining whether to use deadly force when safe and feasible to do so, per policy section 300.4, deadly force applications.
SB 230 mandates comprehensive and detailed requirements for prompt internal reporting and notification regarding use of force and state reporting on serious use of force incidents, found in several policies.
Our policy does not allow chokeholds, and we have banned the use of carotid restraints by removing it from our policy. The California Peace Officers Standards and Training also has decertified this training, not allowing it to be used in their certified curriculum.
Our officers are instructed not to discharge a firearm from or at a moving vehicle, except when necessary in the defense of the officer's life or the life of another person. Our policy recommends officers step out of the way or avoid putting themselves in the path of an approaching vehicle instead of discharging their firearm at the vehicle or its occupants, found in policy 300.4.1.
Our police department is constantly evaluating and updating our use of force policies and training, and every instance of use of force is documented, investigated, and reviewed. The department recognizes its responsibility to make its policing policies and practices transparent to the community and all of our policies can be found on our website under the Senate Bill 978 link as shown in the video.
We strive to ensure building partnerships with our community by collaboratively participating in annual events that help bridge the gap between all community members and a department. We participate in a number of events throughout the year, which includes the Citrus Fair Parade, Cesar Chavez Day, Coffee with a Cop, where folks from the community can have a cup of coffee with a local police officer, Lunch with the Cop program, where 2 middle school students accompany a police officer to have lunch. National Night Out is an annual event where we invite the community into the police department, promote safety, and barbecue while conducting safety demonstrations. We participate in the annual Law Enforcement Torch Run that supports and fundraises for Special Olympics. We conduct neighborhood watch programs as well as business watch programs to support our business partners. We also participate in the Public Safety Day with our local elementary school, providing instruction on how to call 911, interaction with police personnel, and demonstrations on safety equipment. Throughout the school year, we instruct Great and Dare programs for the middle school. Officers are involved in the community outside their employment by engaging in local youth sports programs, by coaching and mentoring kids in football, soccer, and baseball, just to name a few.
As members of the Cloverdale Police Department, we strive to ensure the safety of our community by building strong partnerships and being committed to our community policing philosophy.